The Niners have some big questions to answer in 2025. Welcome in is the Breer Report for December the 13th. Week 15 is underway. The Rams and the Niners kick things off, and that's where we're going to kick off this edition of the Breer Report. The Rams win 12-6, and the two sides of this, two teams now that look like they're going in different directions. The Rams moved to 8-6, and this puts them in position to win the NFC West. They're a half game back of the Seahawks. They play the Seahawks at the end of the year. If they win that game, they sweep Seattle. So they control their own destiny now in the NFC West. And the Niners, on the other hand, are 6-8 and just about out of it. And it looks like this season, which has been met with so much bad luck by the Niners, whether it's off the field, obviously some tragic situations involving Trent Williams and Charvarius Ward, and the shooting of Ricky Pearsall, and then all the football bad luck, which isn't on the same level of that bad luck, but it certainly affects the team. Guys like Christian McCaffrey, Nick Bosa dealing with injuries over the course of the season. The Niners have some big questions to answer in 2025. They almost $300 million in cap commitments. Brock Purdy is eligible for a second contract for the first time. This team clearly is not going to look the same coming back next year as it has the last couple of years. And so last night sort of felt like an ending for them, where this may be the last shot that this team, as presently constituted, gets together. Now, as long as Kyle Shanahan and some of their star players are there, I think they'll continue to be competitive. But just for that one group of players that went to a Super Bowl last year, that's been so integral to this thing being built over the last 5 or 6 years, and guys who've been around for multiple Super Bowls, your Fred Warners, your Nick Bosas, for your George Kittles, your Deebo Samuels, sort of feels like just as that group, as a group, this is it for them. So changes will be coming next year. Again, like a lot of guys will be back, but there will be some that won't. As for the Rams, where last night maybe felt like an ending for the Niners, this was more of a beginning for the Rams. This season's been more of a beginning for the Rams. They're very young in a lot of key spots. They've got some old standbys like Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp, but their young defensive front really came to play last night, made the Niners, for the most part, one-dimensional, put the game in Brock Purdy's hands on a rainy night where it was difficult to throw. It's a credit to guys like Kobe Turner and Braden Fisk and Jared Verse and Byron Young and that great young group that they built up front. Then I think you started to see the identity of the offense too, in the way that they were able to hammer it home with the run game and go on long drives in the second half and make sure the Niners offense was kept off the field in the cold and out of rhythm. And so they played a great complementary game last night. And I think it's so indicative of how this team can win different ways. What they did over that 5-day period, where against Buffalo on Sunday at SoFi, they win a 44-42 shootout. So they're able to win in that environment, throwing the ball with Matthew Stafford. And then, 4 days later, win an absolute rock fight against their arch rivals from San Francisco. So the Rams are well positioned now. Now, I don't know if they can challenge the Eagles or the Lions at the top of the NFC, but I think this is a team I wouldn't want to see in the divisional round if I was one of those teams. So, I think the Rams, again, they're on the upswing now with some of the young players they've got on the team and the young talent, the way they've drafted the last couple of years, all those young guys in the defensive front. Again, your Turners, your Youngs, your Fisks, your Verses. And then on the offensive side, guys like Bo Limmer has been really good at center. Kyron Williams is the energy guy for the offense. Puka Nacua, you can't say enough about the job that he's done. And so you see where the Rams are now on the way up. And again, I don't think they're a team you'd want to play if you're a team like the Lions or the Eagles in the second round of the playoffs. Our second topic for today, and you guys can hear my voice fading. This is going to be my Jordan flu game today. I'm dealing with a few different things health-wise right now. Nothing serious, but the kind of thing that happens this time of year. We'll jump into Bills-Lions, where, I think we're going to find out a little something about Buffalo. I think we're going to find out a little something about the Lions. The Lions remain very beat up on defense. And so I think that could produce a similar type of game as the one we had on Sunday between the Rams and the Bills. Could we could have a game that's played in the 30s, a game that's played in the 40s. Can the Lions win that kind of game? And so I think that the best teams, that the ones that are capable of winning championships are, like I just explained with the Rams, the kinds of teams that can win different types of games. So, being able to win a shootout, which the Lions have shown they can do, it's another test for them on Sunday at home. And then for Buffalo, how do they come back off of that loss? Can they keep the race for the number one seed a race? If they lose this game, it's probably over. It may already be over anyway. But to keep themselves in the race, to have the number one seed, to maybe not have to go to Arrowhead at the end of January, those things are on the line for Buffalo. And so I think it's going to be a fantastic game. And again, Buffalo, a chance to bounce back, a chance to show who they are, a chance to show all the progress they made with a turned over roster over the course of the year was real. And then for the Lions, perhaps a chance to win a different type of game. Finally, our third topic is the Steelers and the Eagles. This is an interesting game from a couple of different standpoints. The Steelers trying to hold on to their lead in the AFC North, of course, and the Eagles having some drama and going through some of the stuff they went through last year. Only this year, they're 11-2 and they've won 9 straight games. So, where they are offensively, over the course of this year, they become more run-centric because they've got Saquon Barkley now, because they haven't been as effective throwing it, because it's allowed them to kind of load up behind their offensive line, which is always a strength. And we've seen the way that that's affected some people in the locker room, most notably A.J. Brown. So where does this leave the relationship between Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown? Where does that go going forward? I think that'll be an interesting thing to watch now. Jalen Hurts has, over the last couple of years, run into some of these situations. I think it's something the Eagles are resigned to deal with. And having Jalen Hurts as a quarterback, he's not the typical quarterback personality where he'll put his arm around a teammate. He's much more stoic. He is a little more to himself. And that's something that you deal with if you're the Eagles, in paying Jalen Hurts and investing in him as your franchise quarterback. The good news is they dealt with a lot of this stuff last year. The coaching staff did, and they are confident that they'll be able to deal with it again. And we'll see how that looks against a really great Steelers defense on Sunday. On the flip side, you got Pittsburgh coming in. There's going to be a real test for their offense. I do not expect George Pickens to play. While we're taping this, the Steelers haven't been out there on the practice field. My understanding is it's doubtful that he was going to practice on Friday, doubtful he'll play on Sunday. And really his status for the next couple of weeks is up in the air because they've got that funky 3 games in 11 days stretch where they play the Eagles on Sunday, they play the Ravens the following Saturday, and the Chiefs on Sunday. So how he comes back, when he's able to return to the practice field, all of that remains up in the air. It's a weird deal. 97 minutes before kickoff on Sunday against the Browns, they thought he was going to play. That's when he approached the staff and told them it tightened up on him and he wasn't going to be able to go. He's obviously sat out the whole week of practice in the aftermath. And he's somebody you're going to have to check back in on, I think, at the beginning of next week after, again, presumably he doesn't play on Sunday. And now we get to see where the rest of the Steelers offense is and what that's going to look like without George Pickens. We got a taste of it against the Browns. Let's see what it looks like when a really good Eagles defense gets the chance to game plan Russell Wilson, knowing George Pickens isn't going to be in the lineup. That'll do it for us and do it for me for right now. I don't have much voice left. Appreciate you guys coming out. Again, you guys can check us out again on Tuesday. We'll have another Breer Report coming for you then. Enjoy week 15, everybody. I'm going to go and rest my voice. Appreciate you coming out.